What's up, guys? I am here today alongside Jordan Edwards. How are you
What's up,
doing, Jordan?
guys?
It is Women's History Month, so we had to do something special. Us girls have come a long way. Not too long ago, women didn't even have the right to vote. Think about that. So today on the show, we have a multi-platinum recording artist, Mia Martina. We're going to ask the tough questions, but we're also here to talk about her new book, Boss Up Your Life. It's about a lot of things, women empowerment, and it uniquely encourages women to stand up for themselves while maintaining empathy for other women. And we're going to talk about that today, so it's exciting.
Let's bring her out.
Let's bring her out.
What's up, Mia?
Hi, how's everybody doing?
You look amazing.
Oh, thank you. So both of you look amazing as well. I love this. We're all color coordinated.
Thank you.
Where are you right now? Where are you today?
Today I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Oh my god. Okay. Is that where you live right now?
Yes, for the time being, because I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, but luckily I have a vacation home here, so it's a good place to be for creating since Toronto is still on a pretty heavy lockdown. So it's good to be here and be a little bit free.
That's amazing. I mean, we all know you from your multiple hits, and we know you as the artist, but I was most excited to talk to you, especially it being Women's History Month, about your new book. And I'm so happy that you're bringing these topics to light. Let's talk about it. How did you get started on this book? What's it about? What can we expect?
Okay, well, during my journey, I've been in the music industry for over 10 years now. So during my journey, I was like really finding it hard to connect with other women that were in the same business as I was. And I'm like, I really need to do something about this. I wanted to be surrounded by more girls that are like me, that want to be an independent, that want to start their own business, that want to be part of a collective. So I started, like networking with other women, and then I stumbled upon Kylie, which is my co-author. And Kylie is the owner of GBR, Golden Brick Road Publishing. And I was so fascinated with her. I'm like, we need to sit together and do a book about how women can come together from all sorts of type of creative fields and give them kind of like a blueprint and access to us as mentors so we can help them. And that's kind of really how we started. And it's been such a great journey. And believe it or not, when you're in the music industry, or as for Kylie being in the publishing industry, we have a lot of experience that we don't even realize until we actually talk together, and we're like, oh my god, like this can really help people. So that's why I'm here, to just like spread awareness, basically.
And there's the cover of the book right there. You guys look great.
Thank you.
And you mentioned your Kylie. So how did it work in terms of writing the actual book? Did you guys pass back and forth ideas, put an outline together? Like how did the book structure come together?
Well, basically, it was a process. We've been working on this for at least 2.5 years. So at first we had one direction and we didn't really like it. Then what we would do is that we would do kind of like writing camps, kind of like how as a songwriter you go to songwriting camp and just vibe for a weekend and just throw out ideas and kind of put it together. So that's what we would do. We would either I would go to her house, she would come to mine, or we would meet up in Miami or whatever, and we would just sit there and brainstorm. And that's kind of how we did it. Luckily, Kylie has a lot of experience with writing books. That's her forte. So it was kind of perfect for me because I'm a beginner. So I would kind of narrate my ideas to her and she would structure it as we would go along. And it was such a much more of an easier process. So that was great.
Tell us about the pressure from being an artist throughout your career that you faced. from all corners in like a male-dominated industry such as the music business?
Oh boy. A lot, you face a lot of challenges because it is a male dominated business. And I feel sometimes as a female, we don't really have a voice. We're the talent and
Mhm.
we're expected to do what we do best is show up, sing, and kind of let the team direct the project. And I found that really hard because we all have a vision of ourselves. And sometimes that wasn't resonating with me. A lot of times I was like, I don't really like this idea, but they're like, yeah, that's your lane. That's what you got to do. That's what's bringing you income. So if it's not broken, why fix it? And I was kind of like, like it's just not resonating with me. So I really had to learn how to stand up for myself and speak out, even if it was uncomfortable, because that's the only way I was able to progress with my artistry. And yeah, it was really tough. I had a lot of like falling outs, and sometimes people don't have the best interests at heart for you. They're looking for their investment, and you have to be aware of those things. You really have to be aware of those things and really read the fine print of your contracts when you get into business with somebody. Make sure their intentions are good. Study them, really study them,
And
because
you're a musician and you wrote this from a musician's point of view, but the lessons from this book can be applied to just about any field or any kind of
Mhm.
career endeavor,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely, because the creative fields, there's no blueprint per se. It's kind of like trial and error. You see what sticks, you see what's working. Obviously, we all have to monetize, and there's different strategies. So, this book really teaches you how to get that mindset right, and to stay consistent with your craft and to not get discouraged and to go and connect with similar peers, because that's how you grow. There's a lot of women like me that just want to help new artists and guide you the right way. And if I can't do it, I'm sure I know somebody that can kind of help you, guide you in the right direction. And there's a lot of us out there, so it's kind of like that's kind of what you need to do.
Let's take it back for a second, to you were I believe the story was you were called to a studio by your manager at the time,
Sorry.
and you were
I
called to the studio, by your manager at the time. So we're gonna go
Yeah.
back to, like, where it all started,
Yes.
and, you're just kind of like, "Sure, I'm gonna go to the studio," and you end up making a hit song. So what was that like for you? How did that change your life?
Well, Stereo Love definitely kind of happened overnight. We got Stereo Love, and I was asked to do the vocal for it. And I had nothing out. I was a new artist. I was still figuring myself out. I didn't even have Facebook. I had nothing. So then Stereo Love came along, and I heard it, and everybody was like, Mia would sound really good on this. So I went and I demoed the song, and I just had this feeling. I'm like, this is gonna be something, because this is good. This is like really good. So I was like patiently waiting. I remember calling my manager at the time, like probably 10 times a day. I was like, hey, did you hear anything? Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything? And then the label Ultra called us back, and they are like, we love it and we're gonna proceed with it. And my manager was like, well, we can't just release this song without a video. And the label was like, well, we don't really want to put a budget for her for a video. So my manager was like, screw it, let's just film a video on our own, because I think this song would work better with a video. So we had this idea of shooting it in Toronto, in the skyline of Toronto, and we had no budget. We borrowed everything, lawyer's yacht,
Wow.
went in my closet, did it super low budget. I think we might have spent $500.
It looks
The
so luxurious, though.
Right, I know,
Mm.
I know, but we did that with $500, believe it or not. The whole team was on it. The director was amazing, and he was on board. He's a great director, but he liked the song. He's like, I believe in this. So anyway, we shot the video. Ultra was really happy with that. So then we released it the following week. And when we released it, I kid you not, I remember sitting on YouTube and looking at the views going up by like the hundreds of thousands. it was mind blowing. Like, I come from a small town. I come from a village of 500 people. Like, this was surreal to me. So it kind of just took off. And then the next week I was on a flight going to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, at the Hard Rock, performing for my first show with like 6,000 people. And then just went on from there.
One thing I noticed about the track, I couldn't find it on like your catalog on Spotify. And maybe it was just my computer, but
yeah, it's not on your Spotify.
is there a reason why
Yeah.
It's not on my Spotify?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna look into that. That's
right. I was actually looking at this morning when I was, preparing for this interview, is that you have I can't remember the exact song that's on there, but it's not there we go. I had it pulled up. Yeah, Beast and Latin Moon are your top 2 tracks on Spotify, and Stereo Love's not even on there. So yeah.
Stereo Love's not even on there. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know.
This is a strange U-turn for an interview, a live stream.
Well, I thought there was a reason, which would bring me to the topic of
no, it should definitely be there. So thank you for letting me know, because I'm gonna check. But maybe it's because of I'm not sure if Spotify, if that's the way that it works. They put the top tracks, and Stereo Love is 10 years old, so maybe that's
I looked through I come through your whole discography on Spotify, and it's not on there. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna look into that. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's
no worries.
We're glad.
I wanted to ask you. I was on the phone with your publicist, and one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you about was, female singers being kept in the background, in particularly the EDM sphere, and kind of like what kind of control did you not have? What kind of control did you have in that genre?
Certain songs I didn't have any control at all, and the ones that I did write, I have control over them. But for the most part, like EDM singers don't really have an identity. It's like the song gets so big that they don't really care who the artist is, and I find that such a shame, because EDM is a big genre, and it is the vocals that make the song. And a lot of the times they just don't take us seriously. They don't really believe that it's as like,
yeah, even regardless of whether it's a man or a woman singing the hook on the track, it feels like the DJ and the producer get all the glory when it comes to EDM music.
Agreed. And I think that should so change, because without the nice vocal, then you don't have that feeling. It is the vocal. Obviously, we all work together, but the vocal does do something,
I will give you, there are good DJs out there that really push their collaborators. My boy Alexander down in Miami is always putting his collaborators, whoever's singing the hook, out front on Instagram posts and things like that. So I think there is a more cognitive desire to do that. Yeah.
I think like in the early, like when EDM really was on the scene, because I started in 2010, I felt as we're progressing, it got better. But when I first came out, nobody really, they liked me, but they weren't really connecting with me as an artist, because it's just EDM. It's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to like try to do my own unique sound so that I could gain my own fan base and progress that way.
On a brighter note, though, what was it? I mean, you've had such an incredible career. You have a few hit songs out. You've toured the world. What's your favorite memory from your career thus far?
Honestly, I've had a great milestones. I've been traveling the world, honestly. Singing all over the world and just visiting different countries that I would have never been had this not happened, and just living my dream. Really, I'm so fortunate and blessed to have met such amazing people and have a great life doing what I love to do. And now I'm here and I get to talk to you guys about, empowering women. So I'm just been super blessed. Probably the highlight of my career was headlining my own show in Russia. and I had a #1 song there because I would have never thought that would have happened. And I headlined that show. It was about 200,000 people, and that was a
Wow.
big
That's a big audience.
Yeah, yeah.
that was a bit that humbled me. I swear, right before I hopped on that stage, it was like seeing your dream come true. And I said to God that day, I said, I swear I'm gonna make you so proud. I'm gonna make sure to spread this feeling that I have for other people one day. So thank you for putting me in that position. And that was really like my turning point.
Well, that's one thing, as being someone who's in the EDM world, that's obviously an international,
Yes.
it's international music. So, EDM and dance music, house music is, more popular overseas than it is in the US,
Yes.
to a certain point. So
Yeah.
that's kind of comes with the territory of being an EDM artist, is you're going to go all over the world, which is awesome. One question here: what is your Canada isn't known for producing a lot of dance music. So when you were growing up, you grew up. You're a '90s kid,
Yes.
and you came up like that '90s house boom in the early '90s with songs like 100% Pure Love, Crystal Waters, and Hadaway and things like that. Yeah, totally. Were you into that music when you were younger, or were you into rock music? Like, what did you grow up on?
Honestly, I grew up on everything, to be honest. I listened to Mariah Carey, was like such a huge influence for me. I listened to Michael Jackson. I was a huge Def Leppard fan. Like, I listened to all types of stuff because my dad was so into music. So I would just jam out with him to all kinds of stuff. I used to love Journey. Like, yeah.
A lot of good karaoke favorites there.
Oh my God, yeah. And the funny part is that EDM wasn't really like my forte at all. I just kind of stepped into it. I was more of an R&B type, rock type. That was more who I was, like. And then EDM happened.
Now, you had kind of an unorthodox intro into the record industry. You weren't one of these people recording demos in your home and sending them out, putting stuff on MySpace, whatever. You actually were working for a record label, and then you started kind of like singing backup vocals for the record label. Is that sort of accurate?
Completely. I was like an intern. So I was like an intern, and the label was all rappers. It was R&B stars and rappers. And I was just like, but they were Middle Eastern. So they had like really unique, different types of melodies and stuff. So I was like, just there, just learning, watching them party. And I was so young. So one day I'm like, hey, I can sing over this. And then I did. And then my manager was like, oh, he's like, what? That's you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, holy. I said, well, let's put you in the studio. And that's kind of how it happened.
I don't want to make you a representative of all EDM artists at all, but one thing that part of your book and one thing you talk about, we talk about the EDM gender gap, that even beyond, singers getting credit, women are kind of put to the side. They're kind of second-class citizens in the EDM world, maybe even if not intentionally, it's just like the way it is. And even like, there's fewer female DJs. EDM, mostly when I think of an EDM DJ, think of a big house DJ playing Ibiza, playing a big festival. I think of a guy in like cool sunglasses, that whole thing. How much of the lack of women representation in that world has to do with there isn't as many women out there versus women being suppressed, if that makes sense?
To be honest, there's a lot of women that are out there. The problem is finding the right team and finding the right manager, because it's a boys' club, and boys support men support men more than girls do. And I feel like until like we start seeing like strong, powerful women managers, it's gonna kind of stay that way, because it is the music business. It's a business, and that's why it's so important for us women to stick together and just kind of push these boundaries, because that's really the problem. That, to me,
Mhm.
that's what I find the most. I think that's the problem.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I mean, what you said about it being a boys' club is totally true. I actually had this
Yeah,
conversation the other day with my friend. Yeah, music business, as a lot of businesses are boys' clubs,
it
and
is.
you know, girls will go into the studio. The engineer, the producer, the assistant, everyone's a boy. So it's not that it's one or the other or boys against girls, but it's just like, who can we relate to when we walk inside? Will I feel more comfortable if there was a woman in the room? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just really about that, and kind of like you
Mm.
said, if there are more females on the music business side, you know, for management, then maybe women wouldn't be boxed into being the sexy type,
Exactly.
for every role as an actor, or the sexy, you know, having to shoot a sexy music video. Like, these things are important, and it's important because, you know, little girls growing up, that's what they watch
Well,
on the TV, and that's what they see. You
and
know?
that's kind of why I'm like, it needs to change, because not every single female artist wants to be like, we don't,
Mhm.
you don't need to take your clothes off to be an amazing artist and to sell records. You know,
Mhm.
people still like good music. And until like we come together as women, we're not going to solve this problem. We really have to stick together. And that is the issue. It's the
And it's a leadership thing. You need women in positions of power, in management, and in label head positions and things like
Exactly,
that.
Jordan.
Absolutely. And that's why more and more women are going independent, because that's the only way we can have control. Because a lot of times, I'm sure you're a musician too. It's awkward when you go to the studio and it's all guys and you're there for a late session. It's not fun when you're the only female. You feel weird. You know, it's whether you want to admit to it or not, it's not a good vibe.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, girl to girl, I know I've gotten some cool advice from my mom. What is some of the best advice or like life hacks that you received from your mom?
Oh, honestly, my mom always to just be myself, speak my mind, and never hold back. She's like, as hard as it is, just be always true to yourself. Don't do things that don't feel authentic to you. No matter, like, don't do things to just try and get ahead because you feel like that's what they want. Make sure that resonates with you. And that's always what I did, what I've done.
Here's a fun question, Mia. What's the most Canadian thing about you?
Oh, God.
Well, how Canadian are you? Let's put it that way.
I'm very Canadian. I'm French. So on it, we're so nice. I'm so nice. We're really
As someone as a French speaking Canadian, were you a Celine Dion fan, or were you like, enough of Celine, we're tired of Celine when you
oh
were
my
growing up?
God, no, Celine's the queen. No, we can't do that. So Celine's the queen, Shania is the queen too. So no. You have to love those two. Those are amazing women.
Now when you came up in like the early tens, I guess this is what we're calling this last decade, the early tens.
Yeah.
And it was a whole different thing because you came up in the pre-Instagram era. There was Facebook. I think MySpace was kind of on its last legs.
I never
But
had MySpace.
right. But I'm saying in general, those are the things that were going on at the time.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this whole, like, people talk about the term influencer pop as an actual genre now? How do you feel about that? You know, like, if you're a musician and Instagram is big for you, social media is big for you, photo shoots, that kind of
Yes.
thing. But are you grateful kind of that you didn't have to come up in the Instagram era, in the Snapchat era, in the TikTok era?
Oh my God, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so
Mm.
because I think if I would have had to come out in this era, I wouldn't have been an artist. It's a lot. It's a lot. I think it's a lot of pressure, and it's you really need to have a strong mindset, because the internet's not a nice place at all. And I feel like it's tough. And for me personally, it's a lot. It's too much.
What's your personal relationship with social media? You're very active on it. How much
I
of it?
have to be.
Right.
I mean, I have to be but I was never really a big social media person. That like I didn't want it to consume my life, because I like to do my art and live my life and be connected to my family and my friends and to be present. I feel social media kind of stops you from doing that, because you get addicted to your phone, and then you get addicted to talking to your friends, and then you forget to be present, and then you're going to dinner and you're busy filming where you are instead of actually connecting to the person next to you. So that was really challenging. That's really challenging for me, but I also needed, it's the tool now. That's how people are communicating. So
it's a love-hate thing, right?
for me, it is definitely. Like I love my people on social media, and they know I do, but it's definitely a love-hate relationship with me. Yeah.
It's been 2 years since you released your last album, and I know you're here promoting your book, but let's talk about music for a second.
Yes.
What have you got going on? Are you in the process of putting together a new album, new EP? What's going on there?
Definitely. So I'm creating a new EP right now. It's more on the EDM side. I kind of took it back, and I sat back and reflected, and I have a really good synergy with my producer, and we're working on something really special. It's such good vibes. It's kind of like, I call it champagne music, because you just want to be on a beach.
Ooh, that sounds sexy.
Yeah, it's champagne music. That's what I call it. So I'm kind of creating that, and it'll be out this summer, and I'm really excited for it. It's a passion project for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself working with the same collaborators over and over again, or do you like to put new blood into your music, new people?
I like both. I always love to work with new talent, just because it sparks my creativity. I mean, you can never have enough creativity, but I also like working with somebody that gets my synergy and just gets me as an artist, my voice, how my voice flows, and kind of creates around that.
Who are some of, I always get deep, deep on a Monday, but who are some of the people or mantras that have helped carry you throughout those tough times? Because, there's so many highlights. You've got a book, you've toured, but like, what about the tough times?
Oh my God. That's a whole other story.
Yeah. How do you cope? Yeah.
How do I cope? Honestly, I have a tattoo, and it says, "Let it be." And that's kind of my mantra. I breathe it in, and I let it out, and I just let it be, and I let the universe do its thing. That's how I cope with things. Seriously.
Do you like exercise? Like, do you like yoga? Do you do those kind of meditation? Is that something that you like to do?
I do a lot of morning meditation. I do like my morning manifestations, just to put myself in that positive space. And I feel that really helps with my day to just like clear the way,
Mia, what about your love life? Let's talk about that throughout your career, because I know being in any kind of business, when you're in a position of power as a girl, sometimes can be intimidating to guys, or just hard, especially when you're traveling all over the world. How was that for you? Kind of like, what was that like for you?
Well, I was in a relationship for most of my career. So I was with the same person for 12 years. And then we went our separate ways. So it's been 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. So I've been single, and yes, it's hard. It's a different time. So
dating in your 30s is different than dating in your 20s.
Oh God, you got it. You got it there. It's definitely different, because my wants are different. Or now I know who I really am, and I'm just kind of. And that was a long relationship. It's like I was married. So kind of just took some, it's not that easy to be out there, especially as an artist, because a lot of people know me, and then they think they know me, but they don't really know me. So it's been challenging, but I'm working with it. With it. Yeah.
All right, Mia, we will let you go. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you. Yes, my baby. Yes, I'm really happy with this book. So thank you.
Do you want to shout out where you can purchase it? In your socials, in your websites. Now's the time. Where can people go to find you?
It's available everywhere, especially if you're overseas. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Chapters if you're Canadian. Everywhere. Target, all the places.
All right, great.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And we will talk to you later.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh yeah. All right. That was fun. We got a women's history show in, which is really great. And this one all goes to Demi. Demi put this together.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. It's like she's really bringing topics to light that I can't really find much research on, particularly in our business, Jordan, music, arts and entertainment. There's not a lot of women talking about this. So this is something really special, and I'm going to buy this book.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us on It's Real with Jordan Demi. As always, you can go to popdust.com for an archive of all our shows. You can listen to the podcast version on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. We will be back tomorrow, Demi. We've got another show tomorrow at noon Eastern with the Hunna. They're a great rock band out of the UK. So come back tomorrow at noon, same place, and we'll talk to the Hunna. So until then, we will see you later.